would be fair to say that lazy minds are fair prey for lazy ideas. One of the laziest ideas that is sort of doing the rounds right now is this idea of now. Of course, this whole thing of being present, being in the now. I think Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, sort of projected this idea to the top of the hit parade in terms of New Age ideas. But, when we consider these things, we should never ever abandon our reason. If someone is offering a new palliative for life, which is basically this idea of being in the present and everything's going to be great, then we shouldn't just accept it on face value, because actually the whole idea of now is deeply flawed. And the idea of being in now is possibly, for some people, a fairly quick route to the lunatic asylum. So let's explore this idea of now. So, traditionally people have spoken in terms of the past, the present, and the future. And to place your attention on now is supposedly some preferred state. Well, there have been people in the past who have thought that now is a total waste of time. That trying to somehow glorify now has been just a futile exercise. Plato famously said that we are a continual becoming, and because we are a continual becoming, there is no now, there is no resting point. Trying to sense now is like being on a bullet train, the Tokyo to wherever bullet train travels at 200 miles an hour or something, and saying to yourself, I'm going to take a snapshot of the scenery now, and by the time you've done it, you're 100 yards further down the track. Now is a totally elusive thing. It has no substance. The past is fairly solid. The power of the past. So, I assume you have memories of when you were a child, and those memories are whatever they are. If they are circuits in your brain or whatever they are, it doesn't really matter. You have them, and you can place your attention on those, and you can place your attention on them for as long as you want. And guess what? While you are placing your attention consciously on those memories, you are in the now without even having to think about the now. Your body is in the now all the time without ever having to think about it. Your heart beats in real time, your digestive system works in real time, your glandular system works in real time, your nervous system works in real time. Your body doesn't need a concept called now to operate. It's just there all the time. So what is this with the ego deciding that it wants to effectively commandeer the whole thing of now, when the ego has no power to commandeer anything in actual fact? Is this just another trick of the ego trying to gain control? Well, for a lot of people it is. But let me just get back to this thing of the past and the future, and then we'll go into what this whole idea of being in the present might be, and why it might be a fairly fast path to insanity. So we can fix our attention on the past, a nice memory. I have a memory of playing in the favourite parts of the woods near where I lived as a child, and I can place my attention there, and as long as I'm aware that I am focusing on memories and that it's not actually what's here in and around me right at this moment, then I am in the now while I am looking at my memories. But I don't even need the concept of now. As long as I am aware that I am doing this, then I'm in the now. And then we talk about the future. And the future is, of course, pure imagination. But so what? I've got a business meeting next week, and I might imagine how that would go and what I might say to these people. And as long as I know that that is imagination, I am doing that right here and now. So there's nothing wrong with the past, and there's nothing wrong with imagining the future. Memories and imagination are fine, as long as you know that that's what you're doing. When it comes to not doing those things, and of course, it's hard to avoid this word now without giving it some kind of spooky meaning. But when we come to the present moment, any attempts to put a layer of concept on top of what I'm doing now is purely unnecessary. It isn't needed. So the only thing that is really necessary for me to do is just to be aware. I don't need the concept of now. And people say things like, well, now is a taste of eternity. How do you know that? These are just words. For a start, you cannot grasp now. Now is a word with almost no meaning. It's not something you can represent in any kind of way. It's not something that your mind is able to manipulate or to understand in any kind of way. It's just a word. It's a word that people have associated with some extra kind of processing that they do to effectively capture the present moment. And then this idea of eternity. Well, what the hell is that? And you'll read some people who will say, well, eternity is not in time. Oh, great. I am a conscious being that lives in space and time. This is the way I'm made. I have never had an experience outside of space and time. And in fact, if you want to go a little bit deeper, then you read people like Kant, and you see that space and time are properties of our consciousness. And talking about eternity, or trying to be in eternity, or sense eternity, whatever that might be, is like trying to jump over your own knees. You're just not going to be able to do it because your very psychological construction has at its roots space outside and time inside. I'm not going to go into all of that. If you want to really understand these things, spend 2 years reading Kant instead of just buying some flim-flam kind of idea that some guy's written because it appeals to middle-class people who feel existential angst and want someone to say reassuring things to them. So there's another dimension to this. And I mentioned that the body is in real time. You don't need to do anything with your body for it to be here now. It's here now anyway. But our experience of the world is in consciousness. Can we experience existence without time? Well, yes. Every time you go to sleep, your body still exists, but time disappears, particularly when you're in deep dreamless sleep. Can we experience stuff in the universe, supposedly outside our bodies, that is not in space? No, we can't. We're stuck in this 4-dimensional world of time and 3 dimensionals of space. To get back to the main point, the thing that is really important is awareness of your existence. That's really all you need to be aware of. You don't need to somehow try and grasp the present time. You don't need to try and be present. As someone once said to me, when I said to him, I'm trying to invoke the present, and he said, don't be stupid, the present will invoke you. And that's the way it works. Yeah, our little egos think they have control over everything. Even our experience of being present. Being present is something that comes to you, not something that you can make happen. And the best way to move towards that is simply to just be aware of your existence. You don't have to have any idea of the present or any idea of now. Those things are totally ancillary. So I have a cigar lighter on my desk, and I can be aware of its existence, its colour, its shape, its weight, the way the light shines on it, and so on. And that thing exists. It surely does exist. More than now exists. And this is what you have to do with the cigar lighter, and it's what you have to do with yourself. And so, in the Zen teachings of Bodhidharma, he talks about a body sensing exercise, moving the attention around the body. He actually even says it can lead one to nirvana. Well, I don't know about that, but certainly sensing your body is just a very good way of being in the present, as far as we're able to do that. And being in your body just makes you real, because your body is in the now anyway. If you are in your body, you're in the now. You don't need to do anything else. Sense your feet on the ground, and you're in the now. So, the thing that prompted me to produce this podcast was I saw someone asking Eckhart Tolle questions about his work, and he said, look, I've read all your books, I listen to your videos regularly, and actually I find it even harder now to be in the now than ever before. And Eckhart Tolle said, well, it's actually very simple, you just place your attention in the now, be aware in the now. Well, the whole idea of now is defunct. All you have to do is place your attention in your body and get on with whatever it is you want to do, and you will be in the now. Simple. And you can explore that even deeper. It requires work. Study Kant, study Spinoza, study Bishop Berkeley, study whatever has something to say about this kind of issue, and you will gain a deep understanding instead of some ready-made idea that in reality means nothing to you. Within you there's no foundation for it. So throw off that weight of trying to be in the now. Simply just be in your body, which actually isn't all that simple in truth. I'm exaggerating there, but as far as possible, just try and be in your body and do whatever it is you want to do, without the ego somehow believing that it is in control of the flow of time and is somehow the master of your experience. The reality is that the ego needs to capitulate. But that's a whole nother topic. Anyway, I hope that is useful, and if it isn't, well, you've just wasted 15 minutes.